Hi, I'm John Twist of University Motors. You caught me while I'm working on some HIF carburetors here. These things overflow. It's so frustrating. The needles and seats, which I happen to have an example here, here's the needle and seat, are steel. These things have got a ridge around the top of them. I don't know how closely we can come in and take a look, but you can see that shiny ridge right at the top of that needle and seat. And as a result of that ridge being cut in there, eventually you get to the point where it can no longer seal. And when these things start to overflow, then the overflow comes out of the vent, goes over to the charcoal canister, fills up the charcoal canister, makes a real mess. And the real problem is that the float bowl, of course, is underneath, and you can't get to it without taking the carburetors off the car. The HS carburetors are so much better in that the float bowls sit on the side, and whatever you have to do to them, you can do right there. These were looking pretty nasty when they came in, but they're pretty nice now. You'll see that we put AUC 8483 screws, adjuster screws on, and AUC 2451 springs, rather than, let me grab these, rather than this horrid arrangement here, which was the original ones with the lock nuts. These things are impossible to adjust. You know, it's craziness. So whenever you're rebuilding a carburetor, get rid of these friggin' lock nuts and go to the springs on the side, and then you're able to make adjustments very, very easily. Also, keep in mind that the top of the carburetor up here, this is filled with 90 weight gear oil. I know everyone says, oh my gosh, you know, my buddy says put ATF in there, put 3-in-1 oil in there. Racers don't even have the plungers, so if you're making a race car, you got to have light oil, right? Wrong. You want to use 90 weight gear oil. That's so important. Hey, I had another question the other day. A fella called and was taking his door off his MGA to take it down to the paint store to have the paint matched. So the question was, how do I get the door back on the MGA? Taking the door off, of course, is a dream. How do we get it back on in the same place? This is what I told him. Now, I don't have an MGA here. We have an MGB. But I proposed to him that on the MGA, that you take an 1/8 inch drill bit and drill a hole through the hinge in 2 places. An 1/8 inch drill bit, drill all the way through, top and bottom. Then you can take the screws out of the hinge, slip it off, take the door away, do whatever you're going to do to it. When you come back, you need 1/8 inch pilots, nails, something or other, to put through there in all 4 places, and then put the screws back in, so that you end up with the hinge in the same place as it was before. Because on an A, the hinge can go up and down, it can go in and out. So you've got 2 different directions, horizontal and vertical, that those hinges can be. And how do you get it all lined up again? Well, all you can do is get it back in the same place it was when you took it off, by drilling pilot holes. You know, on an MGB bonnet, there are already those same pilot holes for doing just the same thing. Let me open this up. This is a 1972 MGB that's come to us from New York, from Mr. Evans, who lives in California. And our goal here is to get this car up and running. Now, I don't know whether we can see these or not. Eli's got his video here, but see how that goes through. There are 2 holes. These were drilled at the factory. That one's not lined up. How about that? But this one is. And by using 1/8 inch rods through here on the MGB bonnet, you can reinstall it in the same location it was when it left the factory. So I'm proposing that you do that on the MGA door. Let's take a look around the shop. We're getting close to our rough-in inspection time. I think maybe on Tuesday we were showing the lattice or pergola that we're building out in front. We've got our 27 2x12 pieces up here with the ends cut. Here, Rob from British Tool Company has been out here helping us from time to time, and and he's routed some of those out. They're going to look pretty nice. So our electrician's here today doing a couple last little connections, and we also have our bathroom done. Hey, we've already got a piece of pegboard up. We started to build our parts room in here. Here's our pegboard and our gross cabinet, called a gross cabinet because there's 144 drawers. So I've got that. That's the first official movement then of things back into place where they're actually going to go. We have our bathroom in here, which is just dark and crummy, and it's hard to see what's going on here or anything. But that's here. We just got our rough-in inspection today from the plumbing inspector, so we can cast our last little bit of concrete. Out front, you can come out front. Larry's out here drilling. We won't go outside; it's too cold. But Larry's outside here drilling through the concrete, and we've got concrete bases that we're casting that are going to go underneath our pillars for our lattice work out front. So step by step, we're how soon are we going to be open? I wish it was tomorrow, but I still am taking technical calls. And I've had a number of people call me and say that they can't find the phone number's wrong in places. There's not a whole lot I can do, but it is 616-301-2888. I'm on TDS Metricom. Once we're up and running, we'll make a mailer, everybody have all the right information, and these problems that we're having, I hope, will be gone. So take another sweep around the back here, and you can see what's going on. Who knows where we'll be on Tuesday when we check in with you again. In the meantime, thanks to Sky for keeping up the MG Enthusiast website, and thanks for your comments. Call me anytime. I'm happy to answer your questions. The last one I took was from Maryland about rear main seal leaking on an MGB. So all kinds of stuff's happening. And pretty soon we're going to be back in full production here. See you next week.